Welcome to the Southampton Boat Show, where we have got the first opportunity to look at the new Cockwell's version of the Hardy 42. Now, Hardy, very well-known traditional British cruising brand that were purchased by Cockwell's last year. Now, Cockwell's are famous for their very beautifully finished boats built down in Cornwall, and they have now acquired the Hardy's brand and done this very interesting hybrid version of the 42. So we are going to take a full look at the latest Hardy 42 hybrid. So you can see this is a proper little ship, very much built with long-range cruising in mind. And in fact, the owners of this boat specifically ordered it because they wanted to cruise right through the heart of Europe on the entire waterway system, but also have a really seaworthy, capable seaboat. And that is exactly what they have got. So let's take a closer look. Starting at the stern, you can see there's a nice bathing platform on the back here, but also two sturdy Simpson's davits so that you can sling the tender off the back. And you can see those are just the wire strops that lift it up and suspend it over the bathing platform, so they've always got a tender with them. Steps up from the transom up onto the main deck level. You can see some really lovely stainless steel fender baskets there, one each side, and the windows through into the stern cabin. We'll have a closer look at those in a minute, but before we did, I just want to start. There are so many different access points in here. So there's a whole load of storage in there, in this case well stocked with Doombar beer. Now we close that down, and honestly I have never seen so many hatches on a boat as I have on this one. There's access to absolutely everything. So water tanks here, and let's just do a quick tour of the side decks first, because that is one of Hardy's features. It's a really easy boat to move around. So you can see these wide side decks. There's access gates onto the pontoon from both sides. There are side doors into the wheelhouse, and proper two decks of stainless steel. A lot of the time you'd have a row of wire along here. Not on this boat, it's all sturdy stainless steel, and it just gets bigger and bigger, the deck space, until you come right up to the bow, and really sturdy mooring gear here. You can see big Samson posts there, really chunky stainless steel windlass, heavy duty Delta anchor, good size cleats, proper workmanlike cruising boat. Ventilation for down below, again plenty of fresh air, and you can see up on here there are 4 solar panels. We'll take a closer look at those. Those are really just for the systems on board the boat, so that it's all rigged up to an app, so the owners and in fact Hardy themselves can check up on the health of the boat and the systems wherever it's left, knowing that it won't drain the batteries. It'll always be topped up by those. Proper handrails all the way around, boat hook, heavy duty horns. This is proper serious cruising boat. So just do the quick lap of the decks there so you can see how easy it is to move around, and then we'll come up onto the raised aft deck. So the hull was designed by Andrew Wolstenholme, who is probably the preeminent designer of semi-planing boats such as this one. Got a nice keel down the middle, makes it very steady in the water. And then there's this lovely aft cockpit area. It's the raised aft cockpit, so you have a bit more height here. Nice sociable design. Solid table, folds out, plenty of seating here, and then steps up to the Flybridge. Again, it's only a couple of steps up, so it's almost like a half level, but it just gives you a bit of extra elevation and lovely seating all the way around it. So you can have a group of people up here and still leave space for the 2 Helm seats, and there's even a little seat here. Now, you remember earlier that I mentioned that their intention was to cruise through the waterways of Europe, and that of course means a limit on height. So Hardy have come up with a very clever solution, because this boat is technically too tall for the 3.5 metre limit on some of the French bridges. But what they have done, they have made sure that this whole windscreen is removable. You can see there are little knurled knobs there. That whole windscreen can be lifted off and out. Those clip together using little clip bolts. That all lifts up. The mast itself, obviously the tallest bit, that hinges. You can see that's on big stainless steel hinges, so that folds flat too. the seats can be removed, and this entire helm section is also hinged, so that folds flat where the seats were, completely tucks away, and the whole boat will just sneak under that 3.5 metre bridge. So very clever way of having a properly sturdy sea cruiser that is also low enough to go through the waterways of France. So come down back to the aft cockpit and have a look inside. So this is one new innovation. It used to just have those side doors into the wheelhouse, but now they've got these folding perspex doors. You can see they're just on little hooks, but open and close. But really nice to have access from the aft cockpit rather than having to go via the side doors. So move down into the saloon and look at the quality of woodwork. That's the first thing you notice. Just beautiful. They do such a lovely job at Cockwells. I know it's only wood and drawers, but they just do it so well. Proper old school boat building. That's absolutely rammed because of the boat show. It's got everything on here. Fridge in here, so plenty of drinks capacity down there. Chilling. Oh, just drop that spring. And while I have my able assistant here, he's just going to demonstrate the solution for the television. So they wanted everything to be absolutely robust and simple. They don't want anything electric. So a very neat solution. You can see super slender television, just the one wire, but all manual. So there's nothing that's going to go wrong, nothing that's going to fail. And that just clicks into place and folds back up. Now, while we're here, let's take a look at the engine room next. You'll remember that I mentioned this was the Hardy Hybrid, and that term is well earned. Look at that. So on gas sprung struts, actually there's no heavy lifting to be done at all. It just pops up on springs as soon as you open it. So this is where the magic happens. So this is a full hybrid engine solution. So you can have singles or twins, but with the hybrid version it obviously makes sense to have a single central engine and make space for the electric motors too. So I might need to drop down a little bit in here. So it's a single 440 horsepower diesel Yanmar on a straight shaft, and that provides enough get up and go to do about 16 knots flat out, which is pretty much ideal for a semi-displacement boat like this. But more importantly, if we move back along here, you can see the electric motor. So it's a 48 volt system, and there is a belt running from the electric motor down onto the main shaft. It's a rubber belt, toothed belt, but that provides direct drive, and it is a 20 kilowatt electric motor that will give a maximum speed of about 6 knots. And the beauty of it is that that can be driven by the lithium-ion battery pack alone for completely silent cruising, or very nearly completely silent. And there's enough capacity in the lithium-ion batteries to cruise for about 2 to 3 hours at that kind of 5-6 knot speed. But there is also, up the other end of the engine room, a 48 volt generator, and the beauty of that is that when the batteries are depleted, that can charge them from 20% to full in under an hour, 45 minutes. But also, as well as charging the batteries, you can run the electric motor directly off that generator. So when they're cruising through the waterways at kind of 5-6 knots, you can run it directly off the generator without needing to fire up the big engine. Of course, that is much more efficient in terms of cruising. It means you're not running a big engine at low unstressed revs, which they never like. It provides all the power you need with much less fuel consumption. So it's also got very serious size cruising tanks. There are twin, what size are the tanks?
About 1,000 litres on each
So
side.
1,000 litres on each side. So proper range too. You should get about 600 miles on the main engine, and a whole lot more when you're just tickling along using that hybrid system. Now you can see all the master fault system here that charges the batteries. And where's the lithium-ion batteries themselves?
They're under here.
So they're all tucked under the seating. But really clever solution that means you can cruise using much less fuel, much less noise. Absolutely ideal for cruising on the waterways without compromising on its seaworthiness and having a proper turn of pace when you need to. Now you can see at the diner area here, very substantial table leg, all electric, that drops down and gives you an extra sleeping area there, makes up to a really decent sized berth. And everywhere you look, there are lots of little clever storage solutions. So under the seats, you can see access under there for storage. In fact, this seat itself also does something a little bit unusual, which again, I'll just ask Julian to demonstrate. So you can see that folds up, a couple of legs drop into place there, and then you've got a raised navigator's bench next to the helm. So really clever little solution for giving extra seating. It's always nice to face forward underway. It's always nice to be a bit elevated to have a view through the windscreen. So the helm itself, twin suspension seats. I mean, this is a really sturdy hull design, so you're not going to be bouncing around too much. You're certainly not going to be slamming with a semi-displacement hull like that, but add in suspension seats and you're definitely going to be in for a very smooth ride. And of course you can go through pretty much any weather with a tough semi-displacement boat like this. Lovely leather clad wheel, you've got adjustment for the angle of it, and this is the throttle system. So you've got the main single throttle for the single main engine, and then this is the electric control, so it's a single combined one but two separate controls, and then all done on these digital touchscreen controls. So I'm not sure how much of this you can see, but we are actually now in forward gear. You can just about hear a tiny little whine in the background, but that is the only noise you can hear. So we are now motoring forward. Obviously we're tied to the dock, so we're not moving anywhere, but just to give you a demonstration of how quiet that is. And you can access it all through here. You can see what's going on, what power you're drawing from, what the state of the batteries are, how much power you're using, all automatically controlled. And if the batteries do drop too low, it will kick in and charge them straight away. So Humphrey automated trim and stabilization. So they will have the Humphrey interceptors that will automatically adjust the trim of the boat, but they're so fast acting that it also helps to stabilize it underway. Now then, we've seen access to the engines, there's access to the generator here. Everywhere you look, there's a little access panel. So that's just another access panel to the other side of the generator to top up the oil in there. See, even here, there's a tiny little hatch giving access to the header tanks. Absolutely everywhere you look, there's a hatch. So now we'll drop down into the galley. Yet again, more storage under everything, absolutely everywhere you look. Access to the bilges, access to the black water tank. I'm not going to open them all up because we'll be here forever, but you can see it's really seaman-like design. You can have access to absolutely everything. You're never going to be caught out thinking that's frustrating, I can't get to that particular system or check the bilges. Galley itself, very nice and modern, induction hob, proper domestic oven, lovely fiddled storage for all the crockery. Even along here, nice fiddled shelves, Corian top with sink, more storage. And on this side you can see a full-size washer dryer. So absolutely equipped for living aboard for decent lengths of the time. There's the fridge freezer, that's the freezer section, that's the fridge. Again, all domestic size, domestic spec. All the cutlery, beautifully lined drawers, absolutely immaculate. Opening hatch, get some fresh air in there, coffee machine. Now this is a rather clever solution. This is the day heads. So see that door swings into place, day heads, separate circular shower, heated towel rail, very nice, very nicely lit in here too. So good space, good light, good fresh air through the opening hatch, lovely little details like those towel holders. But rather cleverly, there is also ensuite access to the forward cabin. So you can close this door here, you can lock that so that it then becomes a private ensuite. Obviously I've got the door open at the moment here, but you can see that there is access now from the forward VIP cabin. The traditional V-shaped berth gives 2 separate sleeping beds. Again, storage absolutely everywhere you look. Nice fan up above, light coming in through the overhead hatch, as well as these 2 opening hatches, little blinds to drop down, make it nice and dark, and beautiful woodwork yet again. You can see little ventilation hatches, just stops anything becoming too musty. Lovely traditional seaman-like design. Again, access hatches everywhere you look. And then moving astern, again more storage, and look at that beautifully done rack for all the glasses, everyone cut to fit absolutely precisely for your tumblers, your wine glasses, your shot glasses, beautifully done. And grab rails, again, everywhere you look, grab rails. This is the kind of thing that a lot of boat companies don't really focus on, but the type of boats Hardy build are for proper use, for really long range liveaboard cruising, and they've been doing it for long enough to really understand what it is people want. In fact, this hull is best part of 20 years old now. Now again, breaker switches for all the main systems. It's on a CAN bus system, so absolutely heavy duty, easy to get to, easy to see what's going on. Everyone on a different system, so you can immediately work out where something's gone wrong or how to sort it. Again, access to every single system, not a wasted bit of space or void anywhere. Access to everything, and more storage than you can shake a stick at. Now this is the aft cabin. Again, old school aft cabin design, but still works so well because you have 2 cabins at either end of the boat that gives you fantastic privacy. You're never going to be treading over each other to get to your cabin or fighting for the bathroom. Both at opposite ends of the boat, both with their own ensuite bathrooms. Again, lovely hanging locker, ventilation cut into it, stopper for the door, and then ensuite bathroom here. Not huge, but everything you need. Again, frosted glass hatch giving fresh air, nice built-in toilet, storage, and then a shower with another sliding circular door. Plenty of headroom down here. You can see I can easily stand in here, plenty of space, and it's exactly the same in the shower. Just close that up. Oh, again on a proper hatch that needs to be released. Nothing is left to chance. However rough the sea, everything is going to stay where it's meant to stay. Again, lots of storage space all around. I mean, I could go on at this forever, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how much storage there is. Yet more access hatches down here. There is not a square inch of this boat that you can't get to. Nice island berth, really good walking space all around it. Again, you can have carpets down here. This owner wanted that kind of inside-outside feel and specified this artificial teak decking so that it runs all the way through the boat. Gives a very nice feel. It's nice and soft underfoot. Again, lots of bedside drawers, and again all the way around here, bookshelves, windows, fans, and these are the 2 hatches I showed you earlier on the transom. Again, lets fresh air in and more light with these interchangeable blinds. You can have the fly screen or you can have the blinds for nighttime use. So, very interesting boat, and I really like the fact that it is a hybrid, that you get the advantages of low fuel consumption, quiet cruising, environmentally friendly obviously when you want it to be, but also a really sturdy seaman-like hull with enough performance to get you out of trouble when you need it, to cross the channel, cross decent, proper rough weather. You could take it out into the North Sea, no problem. You've got a 600-mile range, remember. Really good windscreen wipers, triple screens. And again, you can see that screen opens up if you want to let more air and fresh air into the saloon. And these lovely side decks and side access doors that just make it such an easy boat to move around and to work on. So there you have it, a really nice mix of old school engineering, old school seaworthiness, really solid hull design, but also the very latest hybrid system, and the kind of customized boat that satisfies a particular need, a particular type of person who really wants the best of both worlds. So that is the Hardy Hybrid 42, built by Cockwells, the very first example. I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thank you very much for watching. If you haven't already subscribed, please do, and we'll bring you plenty more fascinating boat tours just like this one. Thanks for watching.